These techniques involve simple footwork. Somebody grips you, you just use footwork without any complicated technique. They're ideal for situations where somebody's holding you or comes up to grip you, but not too tightly, perhaps in a threatening manner or so on and so forth. Provided you move at the outset, you can make these techniques work. First of all, single-handed grip to the lapel. From here, just simply step underneath, take the person backwards. This time a two-handed grip from the front here. Step under and take the person backwards. With the two-handed grip to the front, stretch your fingers, which will give you greater strength. Push, break this hand free, step through, take the person backwards. Stand up. Now I want to talk about using your opponent's energy so that he defeats himself. There are various methods. I'm going to show you some of these now. First of all, the opponent attacks you and you don't do anything. You simply sidestep and let his force be his own undoing, like this. He grips your lapel. Ha! Hey! In the next stage, your opponent attacks you and you accelerate his force. So as he's moving, you're just behind him, give him that little extra push, like this. When I was in Japan training in judo, I was working with one of the leading masters, Sensei. One day I had a practice with him. I used to come in for the throws as powerfully as I could. The next thing I'd be throwing myself. I'd find myself thrown this way and that way. And eventually I realized what was happening. As I was coming in for the throw, Sensei wasn't resisting, but in fact he was helping me. He was accelerating me just that little bit more so that it would be my undoing. And so often I'll see somebody applying a lock. Somebody resists, and so the result is and you get this kind of thing happening. If someone wants to go in a particular direction, and if you're skillful enough, then why not let them go? So for example, here if Kieran's resisting, instead of me resisting as well, he wants to come up, then I can take him and throw him by yielding and going in the direction that he wants to go. This first technique involves a straight arm lock and a wrist twist. It's wakigatame in Japanese and kotegaeshi. Your opponent reaches for you, you push the arm up in the air, which gives you equal power to your opponent. Grip the wrist as if you're strangling, this sort of a hold, and you step right in front of them with the left foot, bringing them to here. If they resist and start to twist their wrist out, like this trying to break free, you can then apply kotegaeshi, the wrist twist. It has to be in time with the force they're using. You'll step across and you'll throw them with the wrist twist like this. In this technique, your opponent's going to grab you by the throat. Here. You're going to use kotegaeshi, the wrist twist, to defend. As he comes in, avoid and block. You start to do the wrist twist here, but he's wise to it. He resists back against that. So rather than trying to force the technique on, let it take a natural circle, and you come into what's called kote moashi. That's where the hand is bent, the thumb is in against his thumb here. You step in very deeply, and your left hand goes across his elbow joint, locking it so that it won't bend. First, we're going to deal with blocks against punches. The most important thing, as I've said, is to avoid. So as the punch comes in, you'll both avoid and you'll block. So for example, with a straight punch to the head, avoid and block by bringing the hand up and using the cutting edge to deflect the punch. If it's on the other side, lean to this side and again block with the left hand. Now the same technique can be used on the inside of the body as well. So if he punches right again, I can lean this way and block on the inside of his body. If he punches with the left hand, I can lean and block with the hand, but never block just on its own. Here's one sequence involving blocking and culminating in strangle defense from a downward strike. Hey. Hey! Ah! Ah! On this occasion, your opponent's punching. It's a long, slow, deliberate type of punch which allows you to use this type of technique, taetoshi. As he punches, avoid and block, continue round with your foot, bring this foot across here and allow his own momentum from the punch to carry him over. Let's see that technique in practice. Hey! Hey! In this technique, the person's kicking. If they're fast, you won't be able to do the technique. But if they're slow, there's a possibility that as they kick, block, catch the leg. Step in, and then you'll do what's called ouchigari by reaping this leg away. Hey! Ah! From this position, I can get a judo technique. Just come this way, fraction, that's it. Hey, called kesagatame, scarf hold. And I've landed on top of the opponent here. I trap his arm tightly underneath my arm, and my hand comes under his neck and holds him. I spread the legs so he can't pull me over, and I keep my head down so that he can't strike me. So this is the basic hold. If he struggles to here, you hold on. Now, if the opponent starts to turn in, and they're quite powerful, if you turn in towards me here, one thing you can do, just slowly, is this hand comes around the neck. This one comes around the neck, and as he turns in to escape, your foot comes over here, and you can strangle him. But just have a look at that. Come back to here. That's it. You're holding him here, he turns into here, and you're strangling that way. Next, the other possibility is, with his other hand, if he pushes across your throat, he can force you back. From here, he pushes across the throat here, release your hand, then come into a straight arm lock. We'll do that one again a little slowly. As he starts to force his hand across, get your hand free, push his shoulder, take the wrist and lock him in a straight arm lock. Normal speed. You're here. Just holding him. He starts to